Good morning. My name is Paula Collins. Today is Thursday, March 25th, 2021. Let's talk tax. So I got a return all done. We were celebrating the fact that the new tax deadline isn't until May the 17th of 2021. The person wants me to debit their account on May 15th. They owe the IRS money. Actually, they owe the state of New York money. So I got it all set up and I got an error message. Why did I get an error message? The tax software has not yet caught up with the fact that the tax deadline has been extended. And so when I set the due date for this payment for May 15th, it's giving me an error message. And so I can't e-file. Supposedly it's going to be updated tomorrow. We're waiting for the software companies to just catch up to where the laws are moving. So if your tax preparer or if you yourself have sat down to do your taxes and you're trying to do something that involves making a debit from your account for next month, or actually from May the 15th, you're going to have to wait just a few days. So we're just all going to be patient. I'd like to talk about the unemployment compensation because I'm getting a lot of calls about that. If you filed earlier in the season, I know a lot of people filed that first date that the IRS opened up. What was it, February 12th, February 15th, something like that, that the IRS finally started accepting e-filed returns. People were anxious to get their refunds and wanted to have their return on record in case there was another stimulus, which there is. And so they filed their returns, but then Congress said, guess what? The first 10,200 of unemployment compensation is not taxable. So the question pops up, should I amend my return? The answer is a very clear no, do not amend. The IRS is being very clear about it. Do not amend that return. The IRS is overwhelmed. They don't have capacity to deal with, not only they're still catching up from last year's filing season, they have to deal with administering the distributing the stimulus checks. Some people still haven't gotten last year's stimulus, which, by the way, that's built into your tax return this year. If you did not get last year's stimulus, there are two questions. Did you get the first one? How much did you get? Did you get the second one? How much did you get? So that's being taken care of. But do not amend your return if you filed early and did not get benefit of that tax break on the first 10,200. Let's talk about that tax break. So let's say your adjustable gross income exceeds 150,000. You had a fabulous job for part of the year, but then you had a few months when you were on unemployment. And so your income is above 150,000. That tax break is not available to you. So Congress wanted to make sure that the tax break went to those people who were in the greatest need. I'd like to share my screen with you. What I have on the screen is somebody, a person from the state of New York. They weren't unemployed the entire year. So ignore this part. This shows the refund that they got from the state of New York last year. So that doesn't apply to our discussion. What does apply is this: unemployment compensation, $10,731. This is somebody who did not claim unemployment for the whole year. I think it was from like September or October. So this person, when we go over to the Form 1040, you see there, because after we take out the 10,200, that leaves them other income of $531. That's the difference between, what was it, 10,731 and the 10,200 that Congress is not going to tax you on. That leaves her an income for the year of $531. Take away the standard deduction of $12,400, and so she's left with zero to tax on. So she's not getting a refund. It's not like, because Congress is giving us a break, that's not a credit that's payable. It's just that she's not going to get taxed on that. So that's another thing that I'm getting called on. People are thinking, oh, since Congress is going to give me money back. Not so. They're just not going to tax you on that. So now let's walk through a couple of other scenarios. I'm going to go back to the 1099-G. Here we have it. Now, let's say somebody was unemployed the whole year or claimed unemployment the whole year. $600 a week times 4 weeks times several months. So I'm just writing in 28,800. I've seen a few that exceeded that, but let's go with that, 28,800. So now, okay, so it's giving me an error message because I don't have the person's name written in. I'm going to go back to that 1040. And now we see her income is showing 28,800 minus the 10,200 that Congress is not going to tax. And so that gives her income of 18,600. Well, she wasn't having taxes withheld. So guess what? Even though she's unemployed all year, and even though Congress is giving us this tax break, this person still owes. She has taxable income now of $6,200. How did I get that? There's something called a standard deduction. So we excuse that from the income. That brings her income down to 6,200. And guess what? That's about a 10% taxation rate. Actually, not quite. So she owes the IRS $623, even though she was unemployed all year and even though Congress gave us a break. So I'm showing this to you not to scare you, just to walk you through how it all works. Now I'm going to click over to her state return. She lives in New York. Let me go to the page where it all comes down. So New York is not giving a break on the 10,200. New York is taxing us on the entire amount. So here we see unemployment compensation, 28,800. By the time we take out all the taxes and get down to its standard deduction, 8,000. Oops, let me go to the next page. Taxable income, there's her New York state tax of 1,009. And then she has a New York City resident tax of 701. So all due to the state of New York is a grand total of $1,647. There were some other things that I skipped over. She had made some tax payments. There was a school credit that New York City residents can claim. So $701 from New York sales and use taxes, it adds up. So even though this person was unemployed all year, she lives in New York, $28,800 in unemployment compensation. She owes the IRS $623 and she owes the state of New York $1,647. This is the unbeautiful truth about being unemployed in New York right now. I'm not sharing it with you to scare you, just to give you the realities of what we're looking at. I think I'm about out of time for today. Let's check in next week for Let's Talk Tax.